This story didn't happen to me directly. It happened to my niece when she joined the academy to become a police officer. And honestly, if anyone else had told me about it, I probably wouldn't have taken it so seriously. My niece always wanted to join the Navy or the Army. She had that idea in her head since she was very young. But she had also been told all her life that it was very difficult, that the selection process was tough, and that very few people actually made it. Life ended up taking her down a different path. Before she could try, she met a guy. They had a daughter, and things got complicated financially. He managed to get into the federal police, and she started selling things to support their daughter. More than once, she confessed to me that there were days when she barely had enough to eat. Everything she got went to the little one. At first, he sent her money, then less and less, and later nothing at all. The worst part came when she found out through social media that he was already with another woman. I still remember perfectly the call she made to me that day. She was crying out of anger. She showed me the photos, and I remember she was hitting the wall. Because of how helpless she felt, I tried to calm her down, but honestly, I didn't know what to say. When someone is that broken, there are no right words. I think all of that was what ended up pushing her to look for a way out. First, she tried to join the Navy, but they rejected her. Then she tried her luck with the Army, and they rejected her too. Each rejection kept dragging her down further, until a cousin told her about the Citizen Security Secretariat and suggested she give it a try. By then, she didn't have much hope left, but she decided to apply, and this time, they accepted her. Her problem was having to spend 6 months at the academy. Her daughter stayed with my sister while she went off to train. She left carrying a lot on her shoulders. The sadness of leaving her little girl, the anger over what her ex had done, the frustration built up over the last few years. The first few weeks were physically tough, but what was really wearing her down was everything she was carrying emotionally. She told me that many nights she ended up crying, sometimes because of her daughter, sometimes because of her ex, and many times because of both things at the same time. She slept little, thought too much, and it was around the second month when something strange started to happen. One night she clearly heard someone marching down the hallway. Not just one person, but several. It was as if a whole group was coming toward where they were sleeping. The first thing she did was look at her roommates' beds. They were all still asleep. No one seemed to hear anything, but the footsteps kept getting closer and closer until they stopped right outside the dormitory. The next day, she asked who was making rounds at that hour, and a roommate simply replied, "You hear it sometimes, but it's no one." My niece thought they were playing a prank on her and decided to let it go, but a week later she started hearing something else. It was the cry of a woman, a sad, desperate cry, the kind that makes you feel uncomfortable even if you don't know the person. The first time she thought maybe a classmate was going through a tough time, the second time too. But when it started happening several nights in a row, she didn't know what to think anymore. Sometime later, he had to stand guard, taking advantage of the trust he already had with the higher-ranking staff. He asked them directly about the marching and the crying, and to his surprise, no one made fun of him. No one told him he was imagining things. They simply said, "Yes, you can hear it." She asked who it was. Then they told her that years ago, a young woman was doing her training right there, but she couldn't keep up the necessary grades and was discharged. She had to go back home. She didn't want to do it, and she ended up taking her own life inside the room where they kept the equipment. When she told me that over the phone, honestly, even I went silent for a few seconds because on top of that, my niece was still carrying her own pain. The weeks kept passing by. The insomnia continued, the headaches, and for some reason she started sleeping the other way around, with her head where her feet would normally go. She says she doesn't know why she started doing it. She just found that this way she could fall asleep faster. The crying could still be heard on some nights. Not everyone heard it, but those who did knew exactly what she was talking about. And then something happened that she could never explain. One night she had a nightmare, woke up crying, and when she opened her eyes, she saw a woman sitting next to her. She thought it was one of her roommates. She says that woman gently patted her on the back as if trying to calm her down, and then she fell asleep again. She didn't even think much of it. She thought she was just confused from the dream. But a few days later, a roommate came looking for her, noticed she was nervous, very nervous, and asked her about it.
Hey, why do you sleep like that?
My niece answered that it was the only way she could get some rest. Then the other girl lowered her voice and said, "Don't sleep like that anymore." My niece asked why, and the answer was what left her frozen. Her companion told her that she had been keeping watch the night before. During the rounds, she passed the flashlight through the dormitory to check that everyone was there, and when she shone the light on my niece's bed, she clearly saw a woman sitting next to her, stroking her head while she slept. She thought it was another cadet, so she pointed the light again, but as soon as she did, there was no one there. They were all still lying in their beds, all of them, except for that woman who, according to her, she had seen just seconds before.